We have been seeing images this morning of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and Chinese President Xi Jinping all together in Beijing for a military parade marking 80 years since Japan's defeat in World War II and showcasing China's growing military power. This public display of unity from the three is a striking image designed to send a clear message to the West, and it is raising concerns over the ever-growing alliance. Already, North Korea has sent troops to help Russia in its war in Ukraine, and China is buying Russian oil. By the way, President Trump, who was not invited to the party in Beijing, says that he is not worried about the three world leaders banding together against the U.S. Here's what he told reporters when he asked about it yesterday.
China needs us, and I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know, but China needs us much more than we need them. No, I don't see that at all, no.
Here to discuss the parade and the meeting is the former U.S. ambassador to China, Nick Burns, who served in that role during the Biden administration. Ambassador, welcome. Thank you for joining us. So when you see, thank you so much. When you see this image of these world leaders, Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, all together, really meeting publicly for the first time, I believe, what goes through your mind?
Well, it's an alliance of autocrats. This was a very strange parade today because all of the leaders assembled were autocrats, dictators from Russia, from China, from North Korea, and from other states. There wasn't a single democratic leader there. The ostensible reason for the parade was to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II, where the United States played the leading role in the Pacific theater in defeating Imperial Japan. But of course, that wasn't mentioned. So they're trying to rewrite the history of World War II, and they're trying to boost their own fortunes as an autocratic alliance.
Mr. Ambassador, when you see the largest military parade in the history of China, Americans are worried, understandably, and you've got bipartisan worry about China. Senator Tom Cotton often sounding the alarm. Rahm Emanuel recently had an op-ed saying we've got to worry about China. What's your assessment? How worried should everyday Americans be about the rise of China and the potential for conflict?
Well, I think China's our strongest competitor in the world and will be probably for the next decade or two. In military terms, they're trying to outpace us in the Indo-Pacific. In technological terms, where they're competing with us on artificial intelligence, quantum computing, biotechnology, of course. China's one of the world's greatest violators of human rights, and we stand for human rights and democracy. So I think this will be a largely competitive relationship in the future. At the same time, however, it's complicated because if we're going to do anything about climate change, and we should want to do something, China's the largest emitter of carbon. We've got to work with China. On fentanyl, which is such a scourge in our public health system, the Chinese need to help us because a lot of the precursor chemicals come from China. So they're largely a competitor, but we, at some point, on some issues, we have to work with them. And of course, you know, the lesson of World War II, 73 million people died, is that obviously we've got to avoid a war with China while we compete. And that's why we need vigorous diplomacy. We need to be smart about this. And I'll say one more thing. We need to be good to our allies, because if we have Japan and South Korea with us, if we have India with us, we'll be much stronger in trying to limit China's power. And I think, unfortunately, President Trump has weakened our relationship with India considerably. And he's putting high tariffs on Japan and South Korea at a time when we need them in this contest for power with China.
Ambassador, do you think we would be seeing this show of force from China? I mean, they literally are doing these parades to show off the missiles that they have. Would we be seeing this show of force if not for the recent trade war that we've been encountering with China?
Oh, I think we'd be seeing it. We would have seen this under the Biden administration or the Obama administration. China regards the United States as its greatest competitor in the world. So I don't think it has to do with politics in the United States. But I do think that the United States has to understand, and this is one of the great lessons of my own career, I've served both Republican and Democratic presidents, is that our power is immense in the world, but it's even stronger with NATO and with the East Asian allies. And I'm worried that President Trump has weakened those alliances. I've just said it twice now in this broadcast. It's such an important point. And I think the Chinese when President Biden was president were really worried that President Biden was strengthening our alliances with these countries. So I hope that can now take place. We can turn back to our allies, and particularly in the East Asia theater, Japan and South Korea and India.
Well, I appreciate the clarity on this important issue. I once heard a talk from a senior military leader in the Pacific, and he said that there's two missions there in that region of the world. One, deter a war with China, and two, if a war comes, to win it. I hope it doesn't come to that, but you see parades like this, and it does concern you. I appreciate, again, the clarity on this issue. Ambassador Nick Burns, thank you.
Thank you so much.
With today's By the Way, that was that.